Hello, welcome. I'm Hannah, and I've been revisiting some of my older eyeshadow palettes over the past few months to try to figure out what's genuinely good for me right now in 2023 and what I just remember fondly from the time that I acquired it. Today's palette doesn't feel that old for me because I bought this as a Hannah that was already into indie single shadows. I feel like in a lot of life events, I'm like, oh, pre-pandemic or post-pandemic. And with makeup, I'm like pre-indie eyeshadows, post-indie eyeshadows, you know? So I got this in late summer of 2020. And at the time, I was really excited about it. Word on the street was it was like indie single shadow quality. And I remember thinking that also. I also really loved the mattes in it because I know some people complained about them, but for me, these were exactly the mattes that I wanted. Something to set my brow bone with, something to put in my crease, something to deepen my crease, something to deepen my outer V. Like, perfect. Got it. But I just feel like, you know, my palettes don't get that much use because I love my single shadows so much. But every time I've reached for this one in the past, like, 2 years or something, I've been disappointed. I feel like these shades maybe dried out or something. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can kind of like stir my finger in and like reactivate them if that's an option. And I want to try to make a look with this and see how it goes. Often in these videos, I will pull out indie single shadows and try to dupe the palette, but for this one, I feel like the color story was never the draw. The draw was that it was like having 8 indie single shadows and 4 perfect mattes all in one. So it's just gonna be a quick video trying this out and seeing if it's still good. I am gonna start with swatches. These are the 4 mattes, and they still felt pretty good. No complaints with the mattes. This last one is a little bit drier. I noticed that then, and people were saying then, that the deepest one was a little bit dry, but I don't always deepen up my eye looks anyway, so that's okay. Really, the most important ones here for me are these 2 in the middle. So I'm swirling my finger in Jade, the first one, and it is picking up on my finger pretty nice. It doesn't have any like powderiness though, or like squishiness or anything, but it will be a real test when I put it on my eyes because the pressure that I'll apply to these when I'm swatching them is not the same pressure that I'll go on my delicate eyelids with. I like this last color a lot. That like rose gold is really pretty, but the other 3 don't interest me that much. I'm very picky about my greens. I want to say I'm not a greens person, but I love the greens that I love, and the average green doesn't excite me. So this one doesn't excite me. This one felt a little bit lighter when I put it on, like it didn't seem to swatch as heavy. And this bronze looks very basic. It definitely would be no match for my indie single shadows. Okay, and the next 4. Yeah, these look very unexciting to me. Is this gonna be like the easiest video ever? I'm just gonna put them on and not like them. That's how it feels. I mean, I guess usually when I'm revisiting old palettes, I don't like them as much as I like my current makeup, but I thought this one, it could have a chance, you know? I felt like if I really gave it its moment, it might show me what shined about it in the first place, but these swatches are just looking like what I'd expect from any other average Sephora palette that would be good to the everyday consumer, but isn't good to someone who knows the magic of the indie makeup community. Okay, I'm gonna start plopping these on my eyes. I'm gonna go in with Antidote. I do love that it's such a peachy matte. I'm a big fan of peaches. Yeah, blends really nicely. Cute little color. I'm going to take my other crease brush, which is already a little dirtier, to use Hexed. Try to put that a little bit lower. This one, yeah, it's very easy to work with shadow. I don't think it has enough pigment to get a whole lot of depth with it, but it went on pretty nicely. I do have that one little spot there, but I feel like that's just my skin being like dry or something. Let's try out Third Eye. I'm going to use a more concentrated brush. I'm going to use this little one from the Urban Decay Electric palette from many moons ago. I mean, I guess like maybe in a pinch this could be used, but realistically, if I was like not traveling with this and just sitting here at home using it, I would probably just pull in a different dark brown. Yeah, that one doesn't have that much depth to it. Let me try to use my other brush. Alright, I am going to use a little bit of something fluffier. I have this Cliona brush, because it's not so pigmented, so I'm not so scared about, like, getting it everywhere. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, alright. I could use it. Still not my favorite, but it is very user-friendly by being not so pigmented. And I don't always do this, but just for good measure, I'm going to use the light one on a like fluffy flat brush and just put that in my brow. Okay, which shadow should we do? Alright, I think I'm going to try to do this one on the outer part and then this one on the inner. So Bloodstone is the deeper one. Okay, I'm getting in there good in the pan on my finger. This one looks very much like Lounge or other shadows that I have that are like Lounge, because I don't have Lounge anymore. I mean, that's okay. I think the real test would come from the lid shade, because I could deepen up my looks with a lot of colors, but I need the shimmer on my lid. Yeah, that's going on all right. Okay, now Vibes. I mean, it's okay. It kind of reminds me of like a weak version of Cliona Opulent. I feel like I've been getting pickier and pickier with my makeup, which I'm down with. You know, I'm down to be picky about it. Because recently sometimes I'll use a palette and I'll get a look that's fine, but I'm not excited about it, and I'll always top it with an indie single shadow, and I feel like that would be the case with this. If for some reason I needed to use this palette and to go out with this look, I could, no problem. It's cute. It works. It has some shine, but I just know that I can do better, so I want to. I spoke too soon when I said I wasn't going to do any comparisons, because I swatched out the 5 shades that I used in this look. I left out the cream colored one because who cares, that's boring. And I grabbed out 5 that I feel like are similar to the 5 that I used, and I'm going to swatch them out. The mattes that I grabbed out are Luxie Sweet Cream, Luxie Bourbon, and ColourPop Noche. This Noche one isn't as lightly pigmented as the Urban Decay one is, but actually I feel like those satins that I have from Pretties for Your Face might be really close formula-wise. Let me see. Pretties for Your Face A Burr. That is not far off at all. And we have Red Chameleon from Sydney Grace. Like, I feel like this is what this is trying to be, no? Like, it looks more like that swatch. Maybe I didn't concentrate it enough there, but that swatch makes me think it's trying to be like that. And then Opulent from Cliona. And this too, the same, like, rose gold thing of that one up there, but just, like, way more. Like, this is what I go for. I'm gonna add the 2 shimmers on top. I'm not gonna mess with the mattes. I feel like the matte setup is fine, but yeah. You know, maybe the Red Chameleon shade in the Urban Decay palette is a little bit more bronze, because I definitely wouldn't see these two going together, and I feel like they kind of don't, but the Urban Decay ones looked more like they did. But still, I think that has like more pigment and pizzazz, and I like it more. I mean, I don't really like this look, but I like it more. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and come back. And this is the finished look. It's okay. I'm not particularly excited, but I'm not mad about it. It's just not the color scheme that I'd go for. I feel like if I was going for a neutral look, I would rather do something like a little bronzy, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I like Opulent. I just don't really like Red Chameleon with it, but it's okay. It's okay. I used the 2 lighter mattes from my shadows, the 2 Luxie shadows on my lower lash line. My inner corner is Divina Pancake Bubbles. For my lip, I used Lovable Me from Give Beauty. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I would wear it out. It's just not like my first choice. I just feel a little baffled on this palette. Because I mean, I guess if the shadows were softer, it's possible that they have kind of like set since I've gotten them and the formula could have changed. But it's like, also like I was more in the start of my indie single shadow journey. So maybe these felt like a small step back, so much so that my brain condensed it and I thought these were just as good. I'm just making up theories here. I think the thing that I need to remember about this palette also was I liked the idea of it being like a bunch of indie single shadows and a bunch of mattes all in one. That makes it like good for travel and stuff, which used to be something I would think about more than I do now, because now I'm like, I can make a little custom palette for travel and my makeup doesn't have to be the best when I travel, you know? But the point being, I don't bring this with me when I travel, and especially based on using it today, I won't be bringing it with me when I travel. So if the purpose was having indie single shadows in one place, it's kind of like a non-issue when I'm home with all my makeup because I like using my indie single shadows anyway, and it doesn't help me when I'm on the go. So yeah, that's my updated thoughts on the Stone Vibes palette. I like the packaging also, but it's always been annoying how it like isn't flat, so you can't like stack things on top of it easily. But yeah, I hope this was fun to watch. If you have this palette, let me know if yours is still good or not. If you don't, I hope this was entertaining to watch and maybe inspires you to appreciate your single shadows a little bit. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. And thank you so much for being here today. Bye.